good afternoon, good evening, good morning, whatever time of day you may be watching this message. This is our first episode of Car Chronicles, the unlocked version. I'm going to be reading today an excerpt from my book, Unlocked, Being Freed from Your Dysfunctional Prison. Just wanted to do something a little different this time, so I'm going to read the excerpt, and then I have my husband in the car who's driving right now. And we're just going to kind of dialogue about this particular chapter that I'm reading. I'm going to be going over chapter 13. It's called Slipping into a Deep Slumber. This chapter does have a trigger warning because it is a sensitive subject. If you have the book, you'll know that there are trigger warning chapters. If you don't have the book, you can always go to Amazon or go to my website, www.christinaladonna.com, and order your copy. But there are some trigger warnings throughout the book. So we're going to go ahead and get started with the excerpt from chapter 13, Slipping into a Deep Slumber. Oh, FYI, this chapter is about us. He don't know. Also, he didn't read all of the book. He just read bits and pieces. But he lived the story, so that's partly why he hadn't read all of it. The relationship between John and I was supposed to be different. This relationship was supposed to be better. All my troubles, worries, and pain were supposed to leave. Why? Why would you do this to me? I was hurt and my mind was in turmoil. I screamed until I almost was hoarse as I glanced into the tattered mirror that seemed to be taunting me again. Tears gushing from my eyes. I had been crying for what seemed like days, yet it was only hours. How did I have any fluid left in my body? The living room had grown darker and colder. I was back in the room at Addie's house, sitting all alone on the bed. The only glimmer of light was from the moon outside, peeking in through the curtains. God, why? You set me up with false expectations just to fail me, making me think and believe that John could love me, flaws and all. I could barely muster these words out through the sobs and the drugs and alcohol that were setting in. A pop here and a sip there. My thoughts were all over the place. What's the use of trying anymore? You're a failure and a loser and everything else that Addie has said about you. My eyes were getting heavy, but that didn't stop my ranting. My venom shifted from God to me. You're going to hear me and listen good, I yelled to the dismal image in the mirror. You are weak and pathetic. You had a good man, yet you could not keep him either. You are damaged goods. No one wants you. They all will be better off without you in their lives. You mess up everything you touch. Just end it already. I was crushed and devastated. The words pierced my heart and my soul. As I looked over what had been my life, it was worthless. Mistake after mistake, letdown after letdown, failure after failure. What good had I accomplished? It wouldn't make a difference if I was here or not. Everyone was mad at me or had an attitude towards me, and the one person who I thought would be on my side no matter what, left me feeling high and dry. And I'm going to stop there because if you want to know what happens later, you have to get the book. But the reason why I chose that excerpt from the book today is I've been seeing a pattern, not just on social media, but in life and those around me, where because life has been life and things are going on, we see what's happening in the world, and people are feeling helpless and hopeless and dismal, feeling like their life has been a mistake after mistake, failure after failure, and they want to give up. They don't know what to do anymore. They don't know how to keep going and pushing. And a lot of times we make the mistake of putting our hope, our everything in a person, hoping that they can make us feel better. They can make us feel valuable. They can make us be seen or felt heard. Now, don't get me wrong, I love my husband. But as you can see, even with what I said in the book, everything that I had went through, everything that I had been through, that void, that emptiness, that hopelessness, that helplessness, that was something, especially at that moment during that time, he could not feel. And it was an incident. Once again, I'll let you read the book to find out what the incident was. That happened and took place that made me give up even hope on him. Like, you were supposed to be there for me. You were supposed to love me no matter what. And because of that incident, that was the last straw for me, where I felt like, okay, I lost all hope in life, all hope in man, all hope in myself, any dreams, any vision, any future. So you just listen to it. What are your thoughts, Mr. Idler?
We all are flawed, and I told you from the beginning of our relationship, right from the beginning, not to love me more than you love God, because anything that you put over God is an idol, and I definitely didn't want to be that. I know that all humans are flawed. I know that I'm flawed. I know at one point or another it was a good chance that I would do flawed stuff. So, you know, like I said from the beginning, you know, God was the main source of your love, and it should have been that, and I'll let you know that.
You did. You said that.
Yeah, I did. Hey, but,
okay, so to that point, because I wanted him to go somewhere else, but he went there, so we'll start there. Yes, that is what he said. And a lot of times we say that, we know that, we understand it, we agree with that, but then along the way, without realizing it on purpose, because a lot of times we can do this unintentionally, but we can make people an idol. We can make our spouses an idol. We can make our children an idol. We can make our pastors and our leaders an idol. We can make our mentors an idol, whomever, if you're not careful. Because yes, they're loving on you, they're encouraging you, they're helping you, they're there for you. But if you don't be careful, you can make them an idol. And one of the things is because, you know, you've always tried to make sure that, oh, I want you to be happy. You know, whatever it was. That's what you will tell me are the different things that you tried to do. And even though, yes, I know that God brought us together and God has been our foundation, but in those in certain times, not in all the times, but in certain times, that yes, it shifted. And because of that one moment, I wasn't holding on to God anymore. I was holding on to you and the promises that you made to me, or the different things that you had said to me. And then when that changed for me, because I'm talking about me, and some people can relate English relate, that sometimes we put more weight on our spouses or people that we love or care about. We tend to put more weight on them than they can carry or was meant to carry, because of our expectations, or even just from our shortcomings, because of things that have happened to us in childhood that we never dealt with, going into, adulthood that we've never dealt with. And so what we wind up doing is we wind up putting weight on them to have to carry the burden to make me happy, make me feel seen, make me feel more than enough, make me feel satisfied, or whatever it is that the make me feel is. And I believe that in a sense that's what happened. And for me, when the straw broke, it just, everything the house came crashing down. Your thoughts?
What direction did you want me to go?
I want your feedback. This is very much unscripted.
You said that's not the direction.
That was one of the. But I'm just saying, because you was always like, I want to make you happy. I want to, what you want to, what you want, and to make you happy, and to go out your way, and this, that, and other.
Yeah. When we got married, that was one of my things to myself, that I was going to make memories. I was going to do things that you had never done before. Yeah, I was going to go out my way to, make your life pleasant and happy with joy and memories. Yeah, that was my mindset. That's how I approached the marriage. That I was going to do everything in my power to make it a good marriage, to make you happy.
That's where I wanted you to go. Like I was saying, because that was his mindset. That was something that we had kind of discussed. He had said, or just even in general, as we began life and different things, and that's how he approached it, because his mindset was to make me happy. That's where I was going there. And because I had not been happy, I grew up in dysfunction, I grew up in pain, I grew up in trauma, I had not been happy, to have somebody actually say, I'm going to do what I can do, or whatever it takes to make you happy. That was almost like a push button that I didn't know, that he didn't know. That, oh, okay, I have somebody that says they love me, they want to be with me, and they want to make me happy. And he did not understand what that meant. Let's just be real. I'm telling me. I'm just saying. And a lot of times we don't even know and understand what makes us happy. We think that going places or things or having money or having different things makes us happy, but that's not where happiness or joy comes from. It's in God. It's in having a relationship with God, knowing Him, because we've lived in different places. We literally started our relationship and our marriage in a 1-bedroom apartment with 5, 6 kids. Was Livy staying with us? No, Livy was still with. Well, sometimes living would be done. So it was like 6 of us, because I had 5 of myself coming into the marriage. And so it was 4 living with me, but then when I got married, then my oldest decided he wanted to come back, so then he was staying with us. And then his youngest daughter, and so it was like 6 children and 2 adults in a 1-bedroom apartment. We made it work. We was happy. We had fun times. We had some other times, but we made it work. You know, we went from that. We had a 4-bedroom apartment. We had a 3-bedroom apartment. We rented, we rented houses and stuff. I mean, now we're homeowners. So we went through different things. But even going through all those different things, we had to find happiness in each place, whether it was cramped quarters, whether it was more than enough room, whether we had a lot of money, whether we didn't have a lot of money, whether we had a lot of food, we had to choose and find happiness. And a lot of times it wasn't something my husband did, for me to be happy, or I did for him to be happy. It was a choice that we had to make, but it was also our faith and our relationship with God. And there were testing times, there were trying times, but we had to have a relationship with God in order for us to ultimately be happy, because he should have been the most unhappiest man at the first however many years of our life. But for some people, you wouldn't have been able to tell it, because I was very depressed. I was suicidal. I was hormonal. I was all of the owners. I was all over the place. And he had every right to be down, to be depressed, to be angry, to be mad, to be like, I want out of this foolishness, I'm done. But even in the midst of it, when I look back, he still had joy. He still had happiness within him, because he had to get that from God. He had to find times of joy, or even produce joy for the children, because I would go into seclusion, because I would be so depressed that I would just hide out in the closet and not come out. But he had to still be able to be present and produce joy and happiness for the kids, to say, okay, we're going to have movie night, we're going to go outside and play, we're going to do something, or whatever. They're asking, why is mommy not there? And he was like, well, she's not feeling good right now, but we're going to have fun anyway. And I could hear them laughing and having fun and enjoying, me wanting to be a part of it, but because the trauma was eating me alive and I was going through so much, I could not fight the demons that were holding me hostage in that closet, in the room, from just getting out of myself, because I didn't have the tools. I didn't have the tools. I didn't have the keys to be able to unlock myself out of my dysfunction and to be able to move forward, to be happy, because my husband was happy at the time, the kids were happy at the time, but I wasn't. And so me feeling hopeless, me feeling helpless, me feeling worthless, that was an inside job that I had to work on. And it's a lot of people now feeling helpless and hopeless and feeling like you're the only one, you're all alone. And the thing of it is, you're not. It's other people like me who have been there, done that, and have overcome it, and have the tools, have the knowledge to help you walk through it, to help guide you on the path that you need to be a healthier version of yourself, to become a whole person, to be the person that God has called you to be the person that you desire to be, so that you're not rabbit trailing, so that you're not on the little wheel, the little hamster wheel that keeps turning and turning and turning, and you want to get off, but you don't know how to get off, and you're sick of being on it. You want something different, but you're not moving. You're just constantly going. So we just wanted to come on here today with the, like I said, it's first episode of the Car Chronicles. We probably might do it again. My husband's smiling like, you set me up. I kind of did. I set him up just a little bit. But just, I had him on here because I wanted some feedback. I like to have dialogue, feedback, or whatever. So he'll be back again. We'll do Car Chronicles again. I do have a couple other people that, you know, have read the book and want to go into a little bit of dialogue. But bottom line is, you're not alone. You're not alone, and you don't have to stay there. You can find happiness. You can be happy no matter what situation you're in, no matter where you're at, whatever you're in the midst of. You can find happiness. You can be happy.
But it's through Jesus Christ.
Yes.
It's through Christ. Because if we didn't have God in our life, we didn't have Christ, yeah, it probably been different. You know, as humans, we can tear things up, and it probably would have been tore up. You know, it would have definitely been tore up if we didn't have God at the head.
I tore some stuff up.
But
just a little bit.
Yeah,
God fixed it though.
We needed God to keep happiness in there. We needed God there to sustain us, to sustain the marriage while we grew, while we matured, and while there were some deliverances taking place to even get us to this point that we're at now. So, yeah, you can find happiness, but it's through Jesus Christ. That's what true happiness is. So,
yeah, we have our moments, and sometimes we have to go to our separate corners, and we have to pray, and for God to give us that happiness, that resolve, that joy, and to come back and be able to talk. But ultimately, it doesn't matter what you have. It doesn't matter if you find the quote-unquote perfect person. There is no perfect person. It doesn't matter if you have all the money that you think you want to have, your dream car, your dream house, or whatever, because you can have everything that you think you want and still not be happy if you don't have God in your life. So we just wanted to share with you today, and just remember my motto: don't allow the traumas of your past to imprison your future. It's time to get unlocked. Enjoy the rest of your day, and until next time on Car Chronicles, peace out.